Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series, straight after Arsenal have drawn 2-2 in their second pre-season game of the season against Rangers, a side which offered a lot from set pieces. They made us sweat, and certainly that set piece coach has got a hell of a job on his hands in the upcoming season if he wants to teach Arsenal how to defend against those, because we are very vulnerable, it seems, from conceding these set pieces, these high balls into the box. It's really important that we deal with them. But I hope you are good. I hope you're well. I hope you're not panicking just yet. As always, this is a pre-season game, so you should not be overreacting and losing your minds over these games. They are fitness exercises after all. But it's good to see some goals being scored by the boys. A very decent finish, of course, from Eddie and Nketiah as well. And a goal from our brand new signing as well, Nuno Tavares, the Portuguese left-back, coming straight into his Arsenal red colours and scoring immediately with it was a fantastic finish, remember, you have to say. Possible handball in the build-up, we don't care. There's no VAR, of course, in these pre-season games, but we'll take it. Good exercise, good little bits of interplay. But the biggest thing about this game for me was a glut of chances being created. Good, right? Fantastic. We struggled to create chances last season, but we could not finish our dinner to save our lives in that game. Really disappointed with the finishing. Aubameyang in particular missed some huge chances. Could have easily been 4-1 by half-time if we'd have just been on it, basically, before the end of the game. Anyway, as always with our Raw Reaction shows, we do like to get your thoughts and your feelings in the chat box for the time that we are here. So let's see what you guys are saying. We have now hit 25,000 subscribers. Thank you ever so much, everyone that has tuned in. I'm probably going to do something dedicated to hitting that milestone at some point. But just a massive, massive thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel. If you could smash that like button, as you always kindly do when you jump into these shows. We'll be doing these Raw Reaction shows as best we can, straight after all of the Arsenal games in the upcoming season. Fingers crossed. So it's going to be a very, very interesting season, it seems, ahead of us as well. Let's see what you guys say in the chat. Thank you ever so much, guys. Much appreciated. Let's go get more likes on the video. Let's try and get to 100 likes within the first 10 minutes of the video. Jason says, which keeper let's play? Looks like they'll settle at the top level. Again, this is pre-season. Arthur Okonkwo is certainly the most highly rated youngster of all of the keepers that we have in our academy right now. Does it mean that he is going to be the keeper that makes it? No, still it's not guaranteed, but he's still the most highly rated, and I would not be buying too much into kind of these little pre-season game performances of a goalkeeper just yet. But there's plenty more that needs to be done in regards to training up these goalkeepers a little bit further. Nicholas says, Aubameyang not scoring isn't the problem. He needs to show a higher sense of urgency. Arguably, they go hand in hand. You need to be on your toes. You need to be more reactive. You need to be more clinical in those key positions on the pitch. And Aubameyang didn't really show that in the game. Interesting that, again, we look like we're playing with these two strikers up top. I'm not going to read too much into a formation without, obviously, the likes of Bukayo Saka. I can't see Bukayo Saka playing in a 4-4-2 as a wide player. That would be very, very strange. And if we are playing in a 4-4-2, does that mean that we're looking to not use a number 10, which I also would find strange considering the fact that we have been linked to so many of them this season? Let's scroll down a little bit more and get some more of your... we've got a fantastic super chat from Colorado Guna, who says, the new set piece coach much have been recommended from our goalkeeping coach. Again, the first one, it was a very, very good corner into the box that was a fantastic header from Balogun, ironically. And then the second one, probably should have dealt with that one a little bit better than we did. It's annoying because obviously they've created something and had a really big chance. I think, was it Kelly in the second half that had that 1-on-1 really well saved by Hein at the time. And those were the only big ones that they had. They had quite a bit more dominance in the first half in terms of possession and kind of making their way towards our box. But Arsenal dominated the game in regards to chances, in regards to possession, in regards to territory in the opposition's defensive third. It was just we couldn't quite get our chances in the back of the net. Glenn says, definitely looks like 4-3-3, Balogun on the left, Eddie second half to me. It certainly seemed very fluid. Balogun came very central at times, Aubameyang staying pretty central as well. I just hope that it isn't going to move into a 4-4-2 whatsoever. Mitchell says people acting like Rangers aren't a very good team, which is also very amusing, of course, too. Rangers are the invincible Scottish champions who are playing in the Champions League next season. You have to remember, they're not an easy team. Sure, Arsenal should be going out and beating them when it's fully competitive, and I would back us to win in a competitive fixture. But those saying that this is Rangers, I mean, I think they need to do a little bit more research on who Rangers actually are and how good they are as a team as well. Tavares looks rapid and finishing, like he said last week, is decent. Yeah, I don't know what was worse about his performance. The fact that we didn't win or the fact that AFTV stole my tweet. I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Joe Gifford says, don't agree that it was a 4-4-2. Balogun played off the left and came inside as the left back got high up, 4-2-3-1, same as last season. I think it's about the fluidity, Joe, that you see on the pitch. It's the times we look like a 4-2-3-1 and other times we look like a 4-4-2, and it's that fluidity. I think we don't need to get bogged down with the whole kind of formation situation that we find ourselves in, talking about a hell of a lot. How should we play 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1? Because at the end of the day, we are ultimately going to play a certain system that's very fluid and does change throughout the game. Well, at least Balogun scored, says, I mean, the wrong Balogun, but yes, Balogun did score. Some bloke says Rangers are further ahead in their pre-season. People need to chill. Aubameyang is getting into the position to score. That's an upgrade in the late of last season. 4-4-2 when defending is pretty. I mean, you see it even goes to kind of a back five at times with how deep like one of El Neni or Partey can drop. Olu says, I like the second half tactics after the 6 changes. I think it went to more of a 3-5-2. Chambers came on, Holding at his first game as well. What did you make of their performances? Let's see what you guys are saying about specific performances. Who was your man of the match in the game and why? Who stood out for you more than any other player on the pitch? Did someone come on in the late part of the game and impress you? What did you think of Joe Willock's cameo on the day? I'd love to hear what you guys are saying. The Vision says Tavares looked decent. That's a positive. However, we looked like an under fives team with our finishing. LMAO. Yes, I can't disagree too much in that area there. There was a question that I just missed. Stephen Foote says, hi Tom, question. Couldn't see the game as was busy. Heard we were much better. It's a pre-season friendly. What are your thoughts? Stephen, I think there was a lot of positives to take from an offensive sense other than finishing. We created a lot of very good chances, really used the wide areas quite well. People that came on, even Willian. I mean, you got to give Willian credit at times. He actually looked very good when he came on the pitch, I thought. Very sprightly, creating chances, moving into the right positions. I thought Maitland-Niles also looked very good when he came on as well. 2 players that I'd probably hope to see leave the club this summer, coming on and doing quite well. I saw another question as well that I'm going to try and find, unless I'm not going to be able to find it now. There's too many that scroll past. Apologies. Simon says, the Smith looks immaculate. Hope he keeps fit. Me too, mate. Chris says, how much would you be selling Aubameyang? Would I be selling Aubameyang? If we got a very good fee for him, I think I might be tempted into selling him. But it's quite late in the window now, and to get a replacement in could be pretty tough right now. Kian says, time to say it, Tom. Bellerin needs to go. He looks like he doesn't even want to be there right now. NYC Foodie says, Joe, I'm a foodie too, and I love NYC Food is, by the way, just top class. Joe Willock says, was disappointing. I was hoping he could drive at the opponents. I mean, it was his first pre-season game. We have to think about that. He came onto the pitch. He tried to drive at the opponents. Didn't really get on the ball too much. Maybe was trying even harder than he should have done, and he's going to ease his way into the team. Gary Hardy says, El Neni, the Smith, Tavares, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and even Eddie was the better players today. Again, a lot of youth coming through, and again, our experienced players on the pitch not necessarily showing us too much. I thought Partey was pretty decent. I thought he transitioned the ball really well, really recovered the ball in the opposition half, in the first half specifically. El Neni was okay. Defensively, though, that's where we looked our weakest in the game. And it's interesting that Thomas Partey is now on free kicks. He took a very decent one, of course, against Hibernian, hit one just over the bar against Rangers. Interesting that he is now being given kind of these free kick responsibilities, considering his shooting from range has been dreadful so far this season. I'm hoping that you can hear me fine. I've just looked over and my mic's not even plugged in and no one said a thing. So you clearly must be able to hear me fine. Switch this over quick. Can you hear me better now? You should be able to hear me better now. No one even said my audio was weird. Is that... don't know why my audio was fine, supposedly. My mic wasn't even plugged in. Hopefully you can hear me a lot better than you could previously. Balaji says, Partey looks integral to us for this new midfield. Make sure he is fit for the entire season. Ben Ham says, has someone body swapped with Aubameyang? It does not look himself, does he? Doesn't really look himself whatsoever. This is not Alex says, Thomas has a pretty good range. I'm sure he's hit at least one satellite by now. Bringing them down, bringing those 5G satellites down. Timothy says, I've missed that comment. Timothy says, we are poor aerial duels both in attack and in defence, which is weird because, of course, when it comes down to Rob Holding, one of his best traits has been heading the ball away from clearances, and he didn't really show to be kind of the same kind of player in that sense. Cyanan says, now you know Saka and Smith Rowe carried our season last year, and obviously Smith Rowe looked like one of the best players on the pitch today. He really tried with some of his chances, trying his chance creation as well. His technical ability seems to be improving all the time. So Hill says, Tom, looks like this is going to be Pepe's season. He was good in both attack and defence. I just like him being able to be given kind of the emphasis to be Arsenal's main man on the right-hand side. Give him that responsibility. Give him the accountability to be our right winger and take it to the opposition. I'm looking forward to him playing this season. I'm looking forward to seeing if we back him up with a very good right-back signing this season as well. O'Malley says, Tom, who will be starting at left wing? I probably think Saka, to be honest. Saka and Pepe I want to see playing together. I like Pepe on the right. I like Saka on the left. I like Saka on the right as well, but I think that Pepe, for me, needs to be developed as kind of that right winger to be more of a goal scorer, and Saka on the left to be more of a creator. Emmanuel says, how is the new set-piece coach? Not looking too great. Not looking the best right now defensively, and certainly something that we're going to need to improve on. He's only just come in, so fingers crossed he can make a big difference to our team. It is funny, isn't it? Like, the guy's been here 2 weeks and we're expecting him to have transformed our fortunes from set pieces. It needs time. It needs time to get ready. It needs time to develop and train and stuff, but fingers crossed that will improve as we go forwards. Andy, no, I don't think you're the only one. I think Maitland-Niles has been solid. I said it earlier on. I thought he had a very good game when he came on the pitch, and certainly been proving a few people wrong, including myself, which we are always up for players proving us wrong. Eddie Nketiah, been very, very critical of him in the past, and yet he came on and did fantastically well today as well. So some really good stuff there. See, Afterling says Aubameyang is finished. Wow. So this is the overreaction, Afterling, that we don't need in the chat box. It is the second game of pre-season. Let these guys come in and assimilate themselves into the team better. We need a little bit of patience here with pre-season. People can't be losing their minds no matter what. Balogun didn't have his best game. I thought his technical ability was a little bit off. Some heavy touches, some poor movement, and ultimately didn't really get in the opportunities to try and get a goal either during the game. So wasn't his best one, but he is still very young. I think there's this great expectation on Balogun to be kind of this absolutely transformative figure as soon as he comes into the team. That's not going to happen realistically. You're not going to see a Balogun come into the team straight away. So, that's what it was. Bulldog says, Tom, did you see that your tweet was on the Arsenal live stream? Was it? Was it on the Arsenal live stream? I didn't see that. Omar says, it is not an overreaction. Aubameyang was shocking last season and has been even worse now. It is an overreaction, Omar, because at the end of the day, if a player's staying, you've got to turn over a new leaf with them, in my opinion. It's only unless there are like certain cases like Willian where we're expecting them to leave. You've got to say, look, Aubameyang had a tough season last year. And if you were giving me 30 million for the guy, I'd probably say let him go. But he's not going to go. He's going to stay. And so therefore, you turn over that slate. You let him have a new campaign. You let him get into form again. You let him keep scoring. If you start getting on his back in the second game of pre-season, what else are you going to expect? Let's support the guy. Let's actually get behind the guy and hope he turns things around, because he is pivotal to us having a really good season next year, because he is meant to be our main man, our captain, our number 9. I know he's not a number 9, but you know what I mean. So it's that kind of same position where we need to really be backing these guys to go forwards. It's only in certain situations that we need to really change kind of certain players in the team. Aubameyang's going nowhere. So let's really get behind the guy. O'Malley says, I don't understand our fan base. It's pre-season. Ball movement was great today. We have 4 or 5 more pre-season games. The goals will start to come. We have obviously got some really interesting games coming up. We'll be playing against Inter Milan in our next pre-season game. We hopefully will see a little bit of La Conga as well, getting into things too. We then will play against one of Milanares or Milanarios, I think is their name, and Colombian side, I believe, and also maybe Everton, depending on the result of that fixture, and our own. And then we come back to London and play Chelsea and Spurs, which is going to give us a really good kind of indication of the level that we're at ahead of pre-season, maybe a chance even to see Ben White at that stage too. Speaking of which, a little bit later on today, I am going to be doing a show breaking down Ben White even further. I'm going to be joined by the Athletics Brighton correspondent Andy Naylor at 6 p.m. UK time. So in just under 2 hours time, make sure you do tune in for that and set your notification bell on fire so you do not miss the show. Speaking of which, next to that notification bell is a big button called subscribe. If you could hit that too and help us get towards now 26,000 subscribers, as we are just past the 25,000 subscriber mark. And again, massive thank you to everyone that's tuning in and watching every single show. Huge appreciation to all of you. AP says, Nelson was fantastic. Always beat his man. And it's going to show that he is really fighting for his place. You can't deny the kid that he's really trying. And maybe if he's not gone by the time we go to Florida, then maybe he's going to get a chance to show what he can do once again in that preseason tour as well. Nimish says, better than last game. Willian has lost 100. I think we all can admit that there was something going on underneath the shirt of Willian in the last game, because he looked very much more slight all of a sudden just a few days later. I mean, I wish I had that capacity to lose weight that quickly, but I think we all know he was probably wearing one of those vests that increases the weight and makes you sweat more and burns those calories. So I wouldn't really be reading too much into the Willian weight side of things too much. Maka says Nelson wasn't good enough. I mean, I disagree, Maka. I thought that he was actually really good when he came on and really tried and was really instinctive in terms of his taking players on, trying to create chances. And he only came onto the pitch with a fair few minutes left of the game to go. So what you can really expect from that is, it's a tricky one. Ronit says Ben White was the best player today. He signed for us about 2 months ago, as reported by 100 plus Instagram pages. Oh, dearie me. I mean, apparently we've had Ben White for ages. I loved did you see a few people replied to like Ornstein's tweet saying, I called this months ago. You're like, oh God, just a dearie me, the ITKs, they never sleep. Shah says, or Shah Noaz says, looks like Aubameyang is very rusty, needs a lot of practice, and he's going to get a lot of practice. So we shouldn't worry too much about that at this stage of the game. Philip says, only second game of preseason. People read into it way too much. Thought we played well today. Glenn says, I know this may be reading too much into the things. I mean, as if going from that comment to the next one. But do you think there's anything in the fact that Laka was sent out with the for sale team in the second half? It's quite funny, the for sale team. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I don't think so. I ultimately think they were kind of matching and balancing experience with youth, with Balogun and Aubameyang, and then they send on Lacazette and bring on Nketiah later on in the game. I think they were just trying to balance up that youth and experience throughout the team. And we're not really going to see like our main first team up until the last few games of pre-season, when we've really kind of got those last games to sort out what our best team is ahead of the Brentford match, which is in less than 1 month's time. Yes, the Premier League starts in less than a month's time. It is going incredibly quickly this summer, and already we're going to be hot on the heels of Brentford away from home on the first opening day on a Friday evening. Rashadat says Eddie scored out of the 6-yard box with his left foot. He looks stronger. Good for him. So we give him another shot this season. I'm not sure I would still yet. I'm actually kind of enjoying him kind of putting away some chances and raising his value for teams that might want to come in for him this summer. And that's a good thing that he scored today, certainly so. Cooper Trooper is needed to be the partay partner. Toying Coop Miners, of course, is very much rated by HK and plenty of the others in our chat box, and maybe the person that we end up going for to be Thomas Partey's partner this summer. So he also says Tom Hine against Okonkwo. It's a really good battle going on between those two, obviously. I don't think you can read too much into these preseason games, especially for goalkeeping. But Okonkwo at the moment in time is Arsenal's third choice. So actually, at the moment, he's our second choice, technically. So until we actually sign a second choice, because Runnison is going to be off very, very soon, what we seem to be going off to Turkey. We'll wait and see when that gets done. I want to know, we haven't spoken about our first goal scorer too much today, Nuno Tavares. Let me know what you guys think of the Portuguese left back and how he did on his debut. For me, I've been really kind of judgmental of the signing. I think he's got a lot of things that needs to improve on. He's been quite raw for Benfica, and a lot of criticism has come his way from even Benfica fans. But he had a great goal today. He was really progressive, really tenacious, really really up for the game in terms of trying to show what he's about. And I really liked his performance. But let me know what you guys are thinking in the chat box. Yamama says Nuno Tavares looked decent, to be honest. I mean, in fact, it's to be honest, like, oh, he looked all right. You know, he was fine. I suppose I'll admit he was fine. Josh says Tavares played very well today. Should we sign Danny Olmo, says AP. I mean, if we could, yeah, but I don't think we can. After laying Tavares was fire today. Sleek says Tav can play on both sides. He can play with the right foot, so he is back up in that area if we do need him to be. He was determined, says Jonathan. Ray says that he played well. Nimish says Tavares was all right. Good first impression. Philip says he was good on the ball. He's the best Nuno in London, says Balaji. Fantastic. Shanawaz says Willian looked out of breath, perhaps needs to lose some weight as well. As I said, I think this is harsh. I think in the first game he was just wearing one of those kind of tops that make you sweat a little bit more, and you got a bit more weight on you so that you're, burning more calories. This game, I don't think he did. He looked a lot more slight in comparison to the first game. You don't lose weight like that in few days. So I think that's probably what happened in the first game. Neil, our resident negative Nelly, Neil. Our negative Neil is in the chat. Another poor performance. Deary me, Neil. Stephen says, Tavares, heaven must be missing an angel. Your mother says, I was expecting the worst after talking to Benfica fans. Yes, likewise, mate. Likewise. Anyway, we are going to wrap things up there, guys. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. This is not your last show of the day. We will be live at 6 p.m. UK time for our next and probably final Ben White analysis of the summer. I'll be joined by the Athletics Brighton correspondent Andy Naylor, who is going to be giving you guys all the lowdown on the move for Ben White, and including what he is like, what he's worth. Is he actually worth the £50 million that Arsenal are paying for him? What can we expect from him? What are his weaknesses and his strengths? All of that will be covered, as well as answering some of your questions in the live chat too. So make sure you tune in 6 o'clock tonight, UK time, so in less than 2 hours time. Now, I'll see you very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.